So I was in the market for a new vehicle, and I never would have considered a Jeep, but I had this buddy who was into Jeeps, and he pressured me into it. And I found a Jeep, became a Jeep guy. 4 months later, I'm on my way to work, and I get in an accident on the highway. And my buddy's like, "Why aren't you at work?" So I sent him some pictures, and he said, "I can fix that, just bring it over." So I brought it over, and it ended up being a lot more work than was anticipated.
He sends me a picture, and like I could see that the grille and the fenders and the hood are all smashed in. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, you know what? It's not actually that bad. As long as the frame isn't wrecked, like as long as the frame hasn't bent up or down, it should be fine. And you can just put new fenders in, the new grille, new hood, new fenders, and it'll actually be brand new again.
I was renting this car, and I didn't want to rent this car anymore to get to work, so we just Frankensteined it together overnight and built this monstrosity of a vehicle. It looked like a tractor.
So I get this piece of angle iron that I just had sitting around, and I measure it and put it between the fenders, and then get two old off-road lights off of my Cherokee and mount them upside down, and then like we just plug the stock wiring harness into those lights and it works. And I mounted, like, the radiator became like a structural component to the front end. It was just ridiculous. We left it like that for like a month.
Beforehand, we had been talking about ideas of how to modify my Jeep, and the Highline fender lift was kind of the go-to.
But I kept telling him, like, we should do that to yours. It'd be cool. And then he's like, I don't know.
And so I kind of saw this as the opportunity, because we had to put it back together anyways, and I figured out if we didn't do it now, it was never going to happen, so we just turned it into a project.
I can fix it, but it's going to be a fair amount of work, and I only want to do it if you'll let me cut it up and make it have Highline fenders on it. So we bring it back to my house and we start tearing it apart again, and then we start with the Highline. Like at this point, like I'd sent over the last month, I'd given Matt this list of things he needed to get, like a new hood, new grille, new fenders, and then I proceeded to cut them up so that they'll fit raised up.
We watched a bunch of videos of other people doing Highline fender lifts, and they seemed real shady.
Like they were just haphazardly, like to pull the fenders in around the headlights, they're just drilling a shitload of holes and putting bolts in. And
we decided if we were gonna do it, we'd do it right.
I cut all the bolts, the mounting points off of the fender, and bolted them onto the grill, and then just placed the fender on and connected them again and welded it all back together. I told him it'd look better if we deleted the turn signals off of the fenders, how they are stock on a TJ, and if we put them down like a CJ has them on the grill. Then since we had the front fenders all lifted up, we needed the back fenders to go up as well. Otherwise it'd look weird. But that involved cutting 3 inches out of the wheel well on the back. Matt wasn't a fan of that, and so I did that when he wasn't here.
really happy with how it turned out. There's always stuff that needs to be done, but it looks awesome. I am stoked. The fenders and the hood all worked out real well. Took all the plastic garbage off of it, so it looks like it's lifted. With the big tires and the fenders raised, it looks like it's lifted, but it's not.
Just the way that it looks now, like it's all the stock suspension. It's like the only thing that's changed is the body has room to fit the big tires.
Every time I'm driving, you see other Jeep people waving. As long as it's like modified a bit, or if it's an old Jeep, you always nod your head. I have people come up to me now and make comments. Like this one guy was walking by with his wife, and he just said, "Love the Jeep, man, beautiful." It's kind of neat being part of the club, because before, like, I just had a Ranger. You don't have people coming up to you being like, "Sweet Ranger, bro, love it, I got one too."
Through osmosis, I guess, Matt inherited some of my enthusiasm, and just to watch him go from being somebody who just like didn't care about automotive culture and to being this guy that's like, when he sees his Jeep sometimes he's like, "Yeah, like, look at that." It's neat that I'm able to give my enthusiasm towards a thing to somebody else.
It's like, why spend 30 grand on a new plastic piece of shit when you can have something that looks sweet and it's just as reliable, and you did all the work yourself, or your friend did all the work, but you take credit for it.